It's rivalry week. It's a big week for the Trojans across the board. And in women's basketball tomorrow night we take on UT Arlington, and Coach Weedor and a couple of our players will talk about that here in a minute. UT Arlington, our former rival in the Sun Belt Conference, and our soon-to-be again conference rival in the United Athletic Conference. So that's a big matchup. Then men's basketball travels up to Conway to take on the team up north on Wednesday evening, which is always an exciting matchup. So we're excited about that one. And again, the opportunity to take on a soon-to-be conference rival here coming up next year. And then all the action comes home, and that's what we got a lot going on this weekend at the Jack Stevens Center. So we've billed it as Rivalry Day in Arkansas, when our women will take on UCA at 6 o'clock. Our men will take on Arkansas State at about 8. We've identified this date as to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this building, of the Jack Stevens Center. I know for those who have been around a while, it's hard to believe that it's been 2 decades now into the 3rd decade, but it has. And so we'll have a lot of things in place to recognize and celebrate the history of the building. We're going to honor the 2 individuals, our all-time leading scorers for our men's basketball program and our women's basketball program. A guy named James Scott, who I believe finished his career up here in 1991, scored just under 2,000 points here and played on some really good teams. And then Chastity Reed, who of course is a little bit more current, scored over 2,000 points for her career, and of course now is a member of our staff, right? So our players get to work with Coach Chaz every day, and I think she could still go out and probably get 15 or 20 in a game out here. So that'll be fun to recognize our past and our history. You'll see we're actually going to reveal new banners, new championship banners and individual banners that'll be installed here later this week. I think it's really important that we recognize and honor our past, honor our history. So in this building, of course, we have 4 teams compete: men's and women's basketball, wrestling, and volleyball. So in each corner on either side of the video board, we'll recognize those teams that have gone on to win conference championships, to go on and participate in NCAA tournament play. And then we'll also recognize some individuals. Of course, James Scott and Chastity Reed that I mentioned, Derek Fisher, his number having previously been honored here. And then on the wrestling side, we've got 3 individual All-Americans who will reveal those banners on Sunday, which is a great segue here, when as if we didn't have enough going on Saturday, we'll have Indiana, Big Ten foe, here in our building on Sunday, as I believe we're ranked 22nd now in wrestling. As we take on Indiana, a really good team. Some things one thing I left out on Saturday is that we've been renovating the formerly Legends Room, now Legends Club, the Ray Tucker Legends Club. And we're going to formally reopen and dedicate that. As you know, Ray has been the voice of the Trojans for nearly 40 years now, on radio, on television, and has really kind of become synonymous with our program. So we're excited about having him here and being able to recognize him in a special way. As I went back over the year, I took a look and saw we've had a lot going on in terms of facility projects. It turns out that we wound up completing 10 facility projects over the course of the last year. Just a couple of them. We replaced the soccer pitch and did some branding work at the Coleman Sports Complex. We resurfaced the basketball courts, both in our practice gym here and on the game floor. Of course, we renovated the Legends Club. Project we're getting ready to start here, if we can get a little cooperation from the weather, is that we're going to replace the turf infield at Hogan Field. That's a project that's overdue, and even though we're looking at a new facility just to kind of get us through the next couple of seasons, we want to make sure we're on as good a surface as we can. And then we've done some work to men's and women's basketball locker rooms and some other projects. So all told, we've completed 10 individual projects and invested a little over $3 million into our facilities over the past year. So what that shows, hopefully, is that, hey, we continue to find ways to invest to make the Trojans better, whether it's in ways big or ways small, that we're always looking for what's next and an opportunity to make the program better. Yeah, I shared with you a little more than a month ago kind of our vision for our capital campaign and our future. We decided to put a name on that campaign, and what we're calling it is Trojans United, the campaign for Little Rock athletics. We thought that United theme struck a chord not only because hey, we really believe our fan base and our coaches and student athletes and administration truly are united, or one. But of course, it speaks well to our soon-to-be new conference affiliation, joining the United Athletic Conference here in about 7 months. And so as we laid out that vision, you remember we identified really 3 key pillars, the first one being student-athlete investment, the second being overall program and operational excellence, and then the third, facility enhancements, whether we talked about expansion and renovation of this building, looking at what we're doing with developing a golf training complex, and then the baseball stadium and indoor facility project and the commercial development around it, that TED project, the Trojan Entertainment District. We've been able to have some really great conversations with interested parties, whether those are individual donors, the business community, representatives from the public sector, because when you're talking about aspirations like we have, it takes a number of parties working together to get that done. And so we've been really excited about the feedback that we've got, and we'll have more information that we'll share with folks here come spring of 26. So we're excited about where that is and to really get to work in earnest on those efforts here in the new year. Just one additional thing to add before we move on is the Little Rock Athletics Hall of Fame, after a brief hiatus, is coming back. We announced the class a few months ago. Really a great group. Coach Foley, who led the women's basketball program for over 20 years, will be a part of it. Our 2015-16 men's basketball team, who this is the 10th anniversary of them winning the Sun Belt Conference and advancing in the NCAA tournament. And then Taylor Galt, who played women's basketball here. Adina Bejic, who's probably one of the best volleyball players we've ever had here. She's still playing professionally in Europe, and so she won't be able to participate, but we'll go ahead and hold her over for the next class. Golfer Daniel Fox and tennis player Dr. Mel Colazzo, and then longtime women's basketball PA announcer Dave Woodman. So we've got a great class, kind of a diverse group of different eras, different teams, different sports, and so we're excited to be able to recognize them. That'll take place February 6th and 7th. There'll be an induction ceremonies here on the 6th, and then we'll recognize those folks at the game at our doubleheader on Saturday, the 7th. So we're real excited to be able to do that, and I think we'll have information coming out shortly on how fans can purchase tickets and be a part of that weekend. So, overall, I think, just suffice it to say we've got a lot of momentum, a lot of really positive things happening, more in store. We're excited about the type of year we've had in 2025, and now as we, we're 30 days away from hitting 2026, and we'll actually be in action on New Year's Day. So we won't waste a minute of the new year. We're just really excited and optimistic about what we have in store for the program. We appreciate everyone who's here to cover us, and certainly all of our fans and supporters and what they do to help make our program great. So with that, if guys, if there's any questions or otherwise, happy holidays. Hope you have a great one. We're at home a little bit here this month, but largely on the road during December.
Right, last time that we talked to you, you moving into the United Athletic Conference, you thought there were a couple other schools that were coming with you. It seems like some of that has calculus has changed a little bit. What's the update on how things stand and kind of what you see as the vision for the future of the conference at this point?
Sure. I find with that the conference alignment debate kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. You might all of a sudden get a rush of activity where you've got multiple schools moving around. Then it may slow down a little bit, or whether it's the time of year or whatever the case is. So I still firmly believe that there will be additional schools added to both the United Athletic Conference side and the ASUN side before we get to 2026 or July 1 of 2026 anyway. Who and where those will be, time will tell. But, we feel incredibly confident about the decision we made. Everything in the roughly 2 months since we announced that has done nothing but fortify that decision. It's a forward-thinking, professional, aggressive group that definitely has their eyes on the future. So we're excited about working with them. All right, great. Thanks, everyone.
Not coming back, so it's an uphill battle right now. I'm trying to make sure these guys get some rest and get ready for Wednesday.
You want to give us an update on that injury situation?
Kellen is out for the year. KK's out. Kaysen has a grade 3 hamstring, so I don't know when he's coming back. And Terran Burgess is out with a torn meniscus. So you're talking about 4 good players off your roster. That's it's hard to win games. It's just hard.
Torn meniscus, is that a year?
He's out.
Yeah,
he's out.
Okay.
He's out.
So I know that last year injury. Did you learn anything through that process last year about how to adjust and how to adapt? I know you've been doing this for a long time, so you probably learned before that.
We're still figuring that out. We're getting close. We're playing good basketball. Last game we just lost, I thought we really played good. These guys deserve to win, but when you don't have enough guards on the court, guards control everything. We got bigs, but we need guards. I can't play him 40 minutes and him 37 minutes. Something's going to happen to one of these guys. So some other guys are going to have to step up on the bench. And the guys that we're talking about putting in the game, there's no knock against them. They're walk-ons, and they shouldn't be playing. But they're going to have to play. That's just the way it is. That's the cards that we have been dealt and have to deal with.
Coach, is there anyone right now specifically that you've seen among those bench players that you feel is maybe making a case to help out, get some additional minutes?
So I think at times Truman and Cam have showed some flashes, but they're junior college guys still trying to figure out what we do offensively and defensively, so that has been a problem. Nobody cares about me having guys hurt. If it was the other way around, I wouldn't care. At the end of the day, we got to try to figure out how to win some basketball games, but there's no way you could take Akoff, Thomas, and DJ Wagner off of that team at Arkansas and think they're going to be the same basketball team. It's just not going to happen. So we're trying to figure out a way to win some basketball games.
That's Jonathan, for you. What's the adjustment been like? I know you were playing quite a few minutes down the stretch last year. Has it been a mindset shift just to kind of get back into that mode?
A little bit. It's really like same. Really, just really like teaching my teammates like the different like offense, because we got to change the offense up a little bit when all 3 guys go down. And certain lineups out there, and certain people don't know certain positions, so it's just a little different on this side.
And Bryce, you're shaking your head. Has that been kind of the adjustment for you as well?
Yeah, I had to get back in that mode for sure. Coming off injury too as well, so yeah.
What has that kind of teaching been like whenever you're working with younger walk-on type guys who have not been exposed at this level? What are those conversations like, and what's that like maybe on a game-to-game basis as you kind of help them grow?
Yeah, we just got to coach them on a daily basis, being a vet on this team, and yeah, just communicate with them every day in practice, stuff like that.
Coach, what's the area that you would want to see improve between now and the start of conference play?
Stay healthy, hopefully get Kaysen back. But even when I get Kaysen back from a bad hamstring injury, it's still going to take another 2 weeks to get him right, get him acclimated to what we're doing, get him back, get his wind back. So just because you get a player back, he's been gone for 2 or 3 months, that's a process of getting him back. We have to stay healthy. We got to score the ball a little bit better, but that's easier said than done when you got KK out, that's 17 out. You got Kaysen out, that's probably going to be 10. And Kellen, let's just be honest, you guys didn't see him, was the best player I had all summer, and he'll tell you that as a freshman. He's out. Then you got Terran Burgess, who was starting for me. He's out. So we're trying to figure out how to score. And defensively, we can't be as good defensively as we were because you're talking about 3 good guards out that can really guard and protect the perimeter. So it's a process. That's why we've been playing a lot of 1-3-1 zone, and it's been effective for us, and we're going to keep working on that.
A chance to honor some history of Trojan basketball this week. Just how important is it to kind of have that be a piece of the program?
You talking about the Jack Stevens Center?
Yeah, Jack Stevens Center honoring the jerseys.
Well, that's. I'm glad that Frank did that. Both of those 2 are deserving, because both of them are going to always be the all-time leading scorer here. Nobody's ever breaking that. Nobody's going to stay here for 4 years to break that record. And then, of course, the Jack Stevens Center, that was a great gift that Jack gave, who I knew who was really good to me, and I wish he was living now. He would be helping my program right now. So that's a great gift that he gave, not only to the school but to Central Arkansas.
Just
just with a long road trip like that, I mean, especially with a new, obviously newer team, but is that, just camaraderie wise, is that, have you guys came together at all? I mean, going kind of through those lows, I guess, on the road.
I tell my guys, don't get too high and don't get too low. It's a long season. This is November. We haven't even got to conference yet. We're still trying to get our identity, and we're still trying to figure out who's the best 5 or 6 that I can keep on the court to win some basketball games. So these guys, they're fun to be around. They're easy to coach. We're just shorthanded. I'm scared to practice now. What if something happens to him? What if something happens to him? So it's a lot of things that go in my mind at night, laying in the bed, looking at the dark about what I'm going to do in practice. I got to keep these guys healthy because they're going to play minutes. That's the hand I've been dealt with, and I'm going to deal with it. But we'll still compete in the OVC if we stay healthy. Knock on wood. But we got to stay healthy.
I think you guys got 3 non-conference games left, 2 down here, and then West Virginia. So just what do you need to see in those 3 games leading into conference?
We just need to put 2. When we won at Ball State, we had 2 efforts defensively, the first half and the second half. I don't know we gave up 29 last night, and then we gave up 45. It should be 29 and maybe 35. You have a chance to win the basketball game. We lost to Texas State. They got 65. The problem is if you can hold a team to 65 all year, you should win a lot of basketball games. The problem is we got 56. That's the problem. It's a lot of scoring and defense sitting in that locker room over there that's hurt. Not hurt, injured, and out for the year.
Was Tyrion's injury, was that kind of just, did that happen in the Texas State game?
I don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
I know his knee was bothering him a little bit. We took him out. He got back here, and Dr. Inkling came in, and I knew every time I see him, it's going to be the Grim Reaper comes. It's going to be Darth Vader. Something bad's going to happen. And he said he was out for the year with a torn meniscus, and the kid was playing good. It's another good player off the team. Nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. Got to keep coaching and figure out a way how to win some basketball games. But it's not easy. It's not easy. As good as you think Duke is, you take that boy Boozer off that team, just him, just one. You take him off that team, they're not even a top 10 team anymore. Injuries, staying healthy is important, and we just haven't been healthy the last couple of years.
Anybody else? All right. Thanks.
Of course, we just got back yesterday from Tempe, Arizona. Had a couple of games out at Arizona State. We played Arizona State on Friday, and we played University of San Diego on Saturday. It was a really good trip for our ladies. Weather was great. I mean, we got to enjoy a little sunshine and played a good game on Friday. Arizona State, it was, I think we outscored them for 3 quarters of the 4. Second quarter wasn't very good. I know that there's no moral victories, when you lose, but, playing a Power 4 team like that, I felt like our girls learned a lot. We playing really well defensively. I mean, we guarded both teams really well. We're still working on our offense, still working on some things to continue to improve, but our girls are buying in on our defense and doing a really good job. And like I said, we came up on the short end on Friday, and then Saturday we were able to get a win against San Diego, which getting a win really helps the team morale a little bit. And going into a big week this week, playing 2 future conference teams that'll be on our schedule next year, and both of them at home. This will be a big week for us. Any question?
Yeah. When you look at figuring things out offensively, what do you think the catch is at this point, or what's keeping you all from being able to hit the rhythm that you're hoping to get to?
We run motion offense, which is an offense that takes a little time for your team to gel and learn each other and do things. So, that's nothing unusual for our program to be able to, to struggle a little bit offensively, especially early in the year. But what we got to figure out is being able to get the ball in places, that are good situations for our ball club to have the best opportunity to score. And they're learning those things. I mean, it just, when you're not running set plays where you're not putting people in just certain spots, I mean, that's things that the team has to sort of figure out as they go along. And I think these 2 young ladies will tell you that, it's a process. And, we just got to keep our goals and our things, everything working towards conference season and getting ourselves ready.
I guess Taylor, and then for Ashley, kind of the same question for you guys as you've gotten acclimated to this new offense, this new team. Just how do you feel like y'all are gelling at this point in the year?
Well, I mean, 10 out of the 14 of us are brand new. So I think for how, I guess, little amount of time we've been able to play with each other, like we are doing well, and like what Coach Weed said, like motion offense, it takes time. It takes getting to know each other, what our different skill sets are, where people like to score the ball, who can facilitate, and try and figure that out. So for this point in the season, I know we have still a long ways to go, but I think we're at a good spot.
Yeah, piggybacking off of them, it takes time with motion offense. This is my second year. It takes time, but you gotta know how to read it. You gotta know who to, in a situation, who to give it to. Like it's gonna take time, but I feel like we're gonna be all right.
Are you guys too dependent on Jordan right now?
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to be, because everybody knows that. I mean, the other teams, they're going to try to stop her, and they definitely know that. So, that's what we're working on, is saying, hey, this is, Jordan can facilitate for somebody else, and that's the thing that I think she's getting better at. But she's got to continue to improve, because we got some other girls that can score, and if they're concentrating on her so much, let's use that as our advantage. Let them concentrate on her, and let's get something somewhere else.
Over the weekend, obviously, Arizona State, San Diego, both of them pretty tall teams.
Yeah.
So, just how did your forwards do against that size, and then just how good did it feel to kind of get over the hump and get a win against San Diego? Yeah.
I mean, both of those teams were really big, and I think that's one thing that we showed, that our inside people is going to hold their own. I mean, defensively, we held both of those teams under their average by 10 or 15 points, and I think that when you do that you give yourself an opportunity. So they just didn't pound us. Now the game before Arkansas, and guys, we hadn't played good at Arkansas the last 3 or 4 times we've been up there. I don't know, it's just that was a game that I felt really good about going into, but we didn't play well. But these 2 games, I feel a lot better about our defensive effort and how we held up. And to answer your last part there, getting the win, guys, it really helps. You can preach all these things about, hey guys, you just got to stay with the process. You got to, keep your head looking forward. But you can only say so much to your team as a coach. You got to keep your your confidence up and things like that. And getting a win definitely helped us on Saturday.
I wanted to ask about honoring Chastity this weekend. Just how special of an opportunity is that, and what has she meant for this program?
Well, I had the opportunity of getting to recruit her, and got to know her even before, she came here. And, Chastity was one of those players that, once she got here, you knew you had something special. I mean, she was probably the most competitive person that I've ever been around. I mean, she doesn't want to lose at anything. If we came out and we played horse, or we played just a little one, I mean, it didn't matter. She tried everything, and so she took that onto the court with her team. I mean, her team just knew that she was going to be a competitor. And as a coach, I'm seeing the same thing. I mean, she wants to win. She wants to do whatever it takes to win. And she's just, a special person. And I'm so, proud of her getting the opportunity to be honored on Saturday.
That's for Taylor, and then actually just having her, on the sidelines there with you on the bench. What's she been like in this coaching role?
Well, it's been super special because I'm a forward, so she does a lot of positional work with the forwards, and you just know, like, everything she's saying is coming from her own experience. And yeah, it's just super special to have someone who's so knowledgeable, who also played at this program for so long, and getting to honor her on Saturday is going to be super cool.
Yeah, having Coach Chaz on the sidelines, she's very caring. She cares about our bodies. She's going to make sure we taking care of ourselves after a game, stretching, but after practice, and just she cares, and she still can get out there with us.
She does that every once in a while.
Yes.
Have you been asking the NCAA if you can get her a couple extra years of eligibility?
I tell you, yeah, if we could sneak that in there, guys, things would change in a hurry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say thanks for everybody for being here. We appreciate the coverage. Know that a lot is going on. We've got a lot of good things going on here at Little Rock as well with all the sports. And believe it or not, baseball's right around the corner, and we can't wait until February starts. We're going to lock down our grades for this semester. Feel good about that. I think we'll post maybe our 22nd, 23rd semester in a row with a team GPA over 3, and these guys have done a great job this fall of coming off of a great season and making sure that we don't dwell on that. We're really ready for 2026 and looking forward to it. Got a great group, 23 new guys, 17 returners. These guys have worked really hard, and we're excited about it. Got some cool announcements coming up pretty soon, and the signing class was good. We're excited about them, and again, we're looking forward to the spring.
Chris, could you talk a little bit about just the process of fall ball? You
Yeah.
have all the newcomers, you've got the returners, just in terms of getting people acclimated to the culture and expectations and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was the first order of business is making sure that we're not looking backwards. And although there were some really great things accomplished, it's very important that we maintain the standard and the expectation. And so getting 23 new guys indoctrinated into our culture and understanding what it means to be a Little Rock baseball player, what the expectations are. We started as soon as we could. We spent about 5 weeks in preseason work, and then we started our scrimmage plan in the middle of September. Had two really good scrimmages at Ole Miss and at Arkansas. A lot of guys competed well. The first order of business was to address the depth on the mound, specifically left-handed pitching. I thought we did that. You saw guys like Brigden Parker, transfer from Kansas, Walls, and other guys come in and really shore up our depth there. The two guys I have with me, Preston Davis, actually been with us the longest. He's battled injury on and off. He actually dates back to the Sun Belt days. He was a weekend starter as a true freshman, beat Troy in a 7-inning game, and then has moved into multiple roles for us. Was our closer in the first half before he got a little banged up, but he's back. Then we have Jerdy Lopez, who is the front runner to replace Alex Seguin, our Gold Glove shortstop, top 3 finalist. And these guys have really done a great job, both Preston in the leadership side and then Jerdy being a new guy watching us on TV and then plugging into our team. But it's been a great mix, to answer your question, of returners that have tried to communicate with these guys how things happened and have gotten to this point, and then new guys plugging in and help pushing us forward. But after these scrimmages, we did some more scrimmaging internally, had a Fall World Series, and then finished up with 3 weeks after where we really focused on strength training and some mental toughness things.
I know you had talked about wanting to see how you guys stacked up against an Arkansas, against an Ole Miss. How do you feel like this group handled those environments and that kind of competition opportunity?
Well, we've had that philosophy as far as scheduling. I think if you look at our 2026 schedule, you see the same philosophy. It's been consistent. And I think what helped us in the postseason last year was that we had been in those environments. Now, you can't simulate 13,000 people on a Friday in a regional, and you can't simulate 14,000 in a final. But one of the compliments we got for our team was how we handled that moment. And I believe that starts in the fall. And it starts in letting these guys, especially the new guys, play in the venues, albeit the crowds aren't there. Still, when you're down on field level, the speed of the game, the strength of the game, the velocity of the game is the same. And so getting these guys a taste, seeing who's calm, seeing who controls their breathing, who's on time, their hitters giving us a good indication of where we are on the mound, and then their pitchers, both teams that we played, with the kind of velocity, everybody's 95 to 100 miles an hour, and being on time. And one thing I like, we didn't strike out a lot. We put the ball in play. We didn't strike out a lot this fall against a very good pitching staff. I think that'd be a good indicator of our hitters. But that's why we play those teams early, is to go ahead and get these guys at those kind of stadiums so that we can be prepared for that in June. And we'll go back to those same 2 spots this spring.
Preston, for you, as you kind of figure out what your role looks like in this staff, what are your kind of expectations going into a new year?
Yeah, that's the whole thing with this group is expectations because they're higher than they've ever been. And, the team, it's kind of like a shark has smelled and got a taste of blood, and now we're just hungry to get some more. And I think we can do it. I think this is the best team I've been on in the 5 years I've been here, so I'm really excited for it.
On a personal level, do you see yourself more back into the bullpen? Start like what kind of role do you see yourself out in?
Whatever Coach asks me to do, I'm going to say yes, sir, with a smile on my face, and do whatever I can to help the team win.
Good answer.
Great answer. He is a Swiss Army knife, and we've discussed that with our new pitching coach, Evan Lee. He's gone 7 innings on a weekend start, and then he's finished out some big games. We play the what ifs all the time, and we felt like we just ran 1 arm or 2 arms short there in the regional. If this guy, and it wasn't his fault. I mean, he pitched his tail off, but if this guy, you wonder what if Preston Davis was down there getting hot for the back half of that game. So knowing that he can do either, and his attitude is exactly what you just heard. That's why he's one of our leaders.
Preston is mentioning Coach Lee. Just for you and the pitching staff, what has he brought onto the table that maybe is a little bit different than how you were going about it a year ago?
He's brought on big league experience. He's thrown in front of 50,000 people, and he can tell you exactly how to calm your nerves in those big moments, which is exactly what we're going to need if we make it back to those big moments, which I think we will. And he just gives everyone a new perspective, and he's just really helping us out this year a lot.
Speaking of Angel, just with how difficult was it to retain a player like that? Obviously, I'm sure there was teams coming after him. So just talk about that process, and then just overall, just how do you feel about the financial backing behind the program right now?
Yeah, we were talking in the hallway just about the portal and about college athletics in general and what's going on. And I remembered that I was in post-game presser. I think it was after the Sunday night game, and somebody, a reporter, you were there, reminded me, hey, the portal just opened, Coach, and we weren't done playing yet. And so juggling all of that, but on that team, Angel was one of the first and most important recruits, was retaining him. And that process did not take long. We were able to take care of him through the backing of Frank and his staff and the commitment they made to baseball and athletics. But Angel didn't draw it out. He was not selfish at all. And we were glad to make sure he felt how important he was to our program. And then, when a guy like Angel is coming back, well, immediately that's a domino effect. Well, hey, I got a guy named Jerdy that I know, and hey, Preston, Angel's coming back. Because Preston, they all have opportunities, right? They all have opportunities in the summer to leave. Every college athlete does. And for him to come back and a pitching coach change, maybe his 3rd or 4th pitching coach, for us to be able to land, it starts with anchors like Angel. And that's the guy now that has become more vocal, Angel, in the locker room, has helped the new guys, and just having him healthy, man, it's been good. So we're praying for continued health for him and everybody.
And kind of following up with what Preston said, just with a bigger target on your back, obviously coming into this year, like last year, kind of a sleeping giant, Cinderella, now a little bit more notoriety coming into this season. Just how do you kind of have a better regular season? Obviously, the postseason was great, but there were times during the regular season last year where it was not pretty. So, what do you got to do to kind of get out to a better start?
Yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't answer the second part of your question. Our administration's, the communication about the commitment to baseball and all sports started in the middle of the spring. And these guys hit the ground running with making sure that we knew and understand as we headed into the recruiting cycle that we were going to be equipped with what we need to go out and land elite players. And they have backed us, and they have given us what it takes to land players. Because right now, that's all it's about is players. Yes, you have to develop. Yes, you have to create culture. But it starts and ends with the players. And the fact that the administration early on communicated, hey, you're going to have what you need to go land these guys, that's huge for stability and retaining our team and for landing new guys. To your second question, that has been a major message this fall, is sustainability and consistency wire to wire. we struggled in the regular season. The opposite of that, in 24, we were great wire to wire in the regular season, but then didn't do it in the tournament. So we need to put those two things together. What's the answer? I think we answered that with roster depth. A lot of it you can't control, which is injury, but everybody has injury. It's part of the game. And the way that you buy insurance against injury is strength. Our strength coach, Cody Duvall, has always done a great job, but you need to have players that are very strong, that are prepared, the throwing programs that they mention with the pitchers, but it's a mentality. We're trying to be a wire-to-wire club this year. We want to be good from game 1 to game 60, game 65 through the postseason. Depth, strength, mental toughness, physical toughness. Appreciate you.
Got the season kicked off. Got a lot to talk about. Got a lot of guys trying to figure it out, and so I figured I'd bring 2 guys here today that have been around the program for a while. They've been through the ups and the downs. They've been through the development and the fun, and so I feel like this is an appropriate time for these guys to be here and talk about our season.
Coach, could you talk a little bit about what the right word is, emphasis has been this year? The standards were kind of raised last year, had a lot of success.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you're kind of pushing for these guys to build off of that?
Yeah, I think the number one thing right now is just we have a really young, skilled, talented team, but we're missing a little bit of that fight and a little bit of that grit that got us here. And I believe they got it in them. I just think they need to understand what that means and what it is, and how to embrace that on a daily process-driven mindset. Like, that's the one thing we're missing. It's not ability. It's not whether we're good or not. It's how much fight do we have? How much grit do we have? And this is an extremely mentally and physically taxing sport. And if we don't have that, then it doesn't matter how good you are. You simply have a tool you don't know how to use. So that's what we're developing right now.
Talk about the opportunity this weekend, hosting a big name program. Like, what does that do for a program like Little Rock?
Yeah, I mean, well, first we go to Minnesota on Thursday. So, they're a perennial powerhouse. They've always been great. And so, and then we come home to Indiana. And so we got a really tough Big Ten slate this year. And when you're wrestling too many teams from the Big Ten, you're going to run into guys you're going to have to beat for to be national champions. And so, while it might be tough right now, it's going to prepare us for the end. And I'd be hard pressed to see that anybody actually has a schedule like we do. I'm not just saying that because I'm the coach, but when you look at it on paper, you're like, holy smokes, right? So I think this schedule is going to prepare us for the end and really help our guys get to Saturday night, which is the ultimate goal, is to be wrestling in Session 6 and competing for a national championship.
That's Brendan talking about the opportunities and maybe what you've been able to glean from some of the tough stuff that y'all have gone through so far this year.
I just looking back at it and like all the matches we've had, I think all it really takes is just fighting every moment now. I think it's just taking there's not a lot of technique to learn now, not a lot of like fine tuning, and it's just more of just like having the willing, like the will to fight and make it to that, like when you're in that third period moment and like you need to get that last takedown, fighting and getting it. It just starts at the very beginning of the match, just setting that tone, going right after him. And I think being able to have that in practice and then putting that into a match and then continuing to do that all year is what I'm going to need to learn, is just continue to have that fight in me in every single match, no matter if it's a number one kid in the country or if it's just some nobody, being able just to go out there and set the tone and just fight against him.
Joe, after you, kind of the same question. What have you maybe learned through this early stage of the season that's helped you grow?
I kind of agree with piggybacking off of that. I think mainly for me is to have my mental toughness throughout the whole match, fight throughout the whole match, keep that pressure throughout the whole match, and really just take it to them from the first whistle to the last whistle. I think coming off of injury last year, it's kind of took me a minute to get back into my groove, but I think slowly and surely I'm getting back into it and keeping that mental toughness throughout the match, really.
Coach, for you, has there been anyone that's really like kind of stepped up that maybe has been unexpected to you, or?
I think I don't think it's unexpected. I think that Brendan Van Hoeke has really set the tone for himself at a much higher bar. I think he was selling himself short the last couple of years, and just in how much he didn't believe in himself. And I think he's on. I think at one point we had more belief than he did, and I think he's all in on himself now. And I think that's what really where you see not necessarily special things in the moment, but you see a lot of just scratching and clawing and figuring it out, and then the special comes out on the end. So I think he's someone that I've been very proud of who he's become and how he's changed and handled adversity. And so it's not pretty with him. It's never going to be pretty. It's always going to be a dogfight until he figures that out. And I think that's what, in sports, most people miss that. They either blow through people or they lose. They don't figure out how to win the mundane, to win the grind, to win the not the hard, not the easy, but that middle road where it's just tedious and repetitive. So I've been very, very proud of that for him.
Brendan, you're nodding your head a lot. Was there a moment for you where maybe the belief clicked or something changed in that mentality?
I think it was just more of just like not being scared or like not just stressing myself out anymore. Like I feel like I was a lot of like a mental mentality guy that was just like I'd always psych myself out. I think going like the last 2 or 3 years, I'd always psych myself out, and I think this year was just like I like have nothing to lose at this point. Like I'm going into next year, it's just like going out there and just basically proving myself in every single match. And like, what do I have to lose? Except for like my goal is now just to get to the NCAA's, win all the matches, and just like go out there and just at this point just fight. Like there's nothing else that I can prove but just fighting out there and like showing these guys that I'm not just like somebody you're gonna walk all over. I'm gonna fight you to the end of the match, no matter what it takes. I'm gonna make sure that when it comes to that next match, when we have to wrestle again, you don't want to wrestle me. You don't want to have to go out there and go to that third overtime part of the match and have to fight me for that last point. And that's what I feel like has just clicked going into this next year, is just like having that mentality of just wanting to go out there and just fight with kids. Not even just like the matter of just going out there and scoring points, but now it's just about like fighting him and just trying to break him in every match now. And like he said, it may not look pretty sometimes, but I know I can go out there and just fight that guy, and whatever it takes, it's going to take to get that point at the end of the match.
How difficult is it to kind of, the last few years you guys have been national rankings, just how hard is it to kind of get to that next echelon of college wrestling, especially with, we saw last year, you guys successful season, and you got some of the bigger programs coming and poaching your players.
Yeah.
So just talk about, like you said, what kind of is the ceiling for this program, and kind of how can you guys continue to compete when you don't have as many resources as Iowa or Minnesota?
Yeah, I think we can never forsake our first love, and that's just our grit and our toughness. Like that's what has got us here. I think we got to continue to recruit at a high level, and we got to stay ahead of the game here in certain ways. We were ahead of the game by participating in revenue share, and all of a sudden, we kind of lost the traditional NIL era in recruiting. And we're already ahead. We've just gotten 2 top 30 pound for pound commitments in next year's class and the class after already, and then another commitment in the 2027 class, top 50 pound for pound. You're talking out of 14 weights. The last 2 guys that we had were Maddie and Nasir, right? So we're back on track when it comes to that. I think that for us to get to the next level, we got to continue to recruit at a high level. And we got to play the game right with rev share and how we approach these kids and how we think about it. And we're doing everything elite from a sport performance side, from a nutrition side, from a training side. We just got to continue to recruit at a high level, and that's what we did with these guys. These guys were 2 really high level recruits. Jeremiah is one of the most winningest guys to come out of the state of Missouri. Brendan Van Hoeke has won and competed at the highest level. He's been on world teams, right? So that's how we move to that next level. But we got to continue every year to win those recruiting battles. People can say what you want, but recruiting is the bloodline of what you do. And for us, having our regional training center up and going, where we have professional athletes here training with us, that's the backbone. And so as long as we keep keep the blood flowing and keep the back strong, I think we're going to move pretty quick. But it's the game's changing, and we got to be very, very cerebral about what we're doing and thoughtful about our choices and who we bring into our program.
Obviously, every match is important, but I think last year we saw just with the home matches, just kind of the buzz around there, great crowds, a lot of different things going on, some different outlets, the UFC, all that stuff going on. So I guess just how important is it this year to kind of continue that momentum, and then this Sunday you can start now put on a good show for the fans that do come out to kind of create that same momentum you guys had last year?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing greater than looking up in the stands and seeing, 2,500 Arkansans screaming for you, right? And I think that's something that we really want to send the message to the fans, like we are Arkansas's team, right? We're not just Little Rock's team. Like we represent Arkansas. We're going out, we're representing the national tournament every year, and we want you here. We want you loud. We want you screaming. We want you buying season tickets. We want you to invest, because we're investing in the youth and the state in a lot of ways, and it means a lot when people show up to watch us. And if you haven't seen us, and you like watching a fight, then come to wrestling, because you come once, you're going to keep coming back. You guys are the same people that keep coming back and checking us out because you understand and you love what we're doing, and we appreciate you guys, but we need more of you guys. We need more.
All right.
Break, we go to Mizzou, and then we got 2 meets in Arkansas. Our decathletes squeeze in, and they get a heptathlon, pentathlon. In the middle of the season, they go up to Washburn for that, but otherwise it's pretty much an all SEC schedule. So excited for the competition. I think we got a group that can handle it. On the men's side, I brought Deshaun Roberts here. He's a 5-time all-conference high jumper. Finished second last year indoor and outdoor for us. Also one of our 3 men on the team who've qualified for NCAA's last year. And for the men, it's trying to repeat that championship. This will be our 3rd straight if we can pull it off this year. And a little bit uphill battle, a little bit of a smaller team. But if we can stay healthy, I think we got the horses to get the job done. We got a lot of individuals that can score really high on the men's side. Good mix of seniors like Deshaun and freshmen. We've got 8 freshmen on the men's side, and honestly, I think all 8 can score for us, and even got a couple in there that can win individual championships. And then on the women's side, I brought Takia with me. Takia's a senior as well. She's one of our more decorated seniors. She was a returning 100-meter champion in the OVC. I don't think she's ever lost a 4x1 yet, right? You've undefeated on the 4x1 on the women's side, missed qualifying for NCAA's by about a hundredth of a second in the 200. On the women's side, they're going for their 4th straight top 2 finish. And that group is, the same kind of thing. We got a lot of seniors and a lot of freshmen. We have actually 12 freshmen on our women's side this year. And so we're going to be leaning on them quite a bit to try and get that top 2 spot again, and just keep this trend going of these top 2 finishes on both the men and women's side.
How much does, especially on the men's side, having the experience of having been there, done that, help, and just kind of for them to know what it takes to get to that point?
Yeah, it's just having the leaders. I can preach it, and I tell my upperclassmen, it's like it's one thing coming from me, but if y'all are on the freshmen, on the younger guys, it's going to be more coming from you. So, but we really push that, trying to. Winning at track it's tricky. It's a lot of moving parts. It's hear about injuries. We had a lot of injuries last year, and especially on the men's side, we missed a lot of guys and still pull it off. Losing like Matthew Tyeski his freshman year was a top 5 hurdler in the country. The freshman, top 5 freshman, missed all last year, complete tear in his Achilles, and it's kind of he's back now, and it's not normal for someone to be where he is after that kind of injury, like in less than a year already, near 100%. So excited to see what he can do this year. We had some other guys, so staying healthy for us is going to be the key. But as far as the leadership, and they come in and they see what we've done, and they want to be a part of it. So it really kind of takes care of itself.
Deshaun, could you talk a little bit about both for yourself and for the team in general? You've had this success. What's the mental process to avoid complacency, to stay hungry, all of those qualities that you need to have to be successful?
I would say
I would say, like some people whenever they like score top 3, like in like races or jumps or anything like that, like they feel like, you know, like I'm going to win it all, I'm going to do it all. But there's 2 different seasons, indoor and outdoor. Like somebody can come up and beat you the next time or something like that. So that's what kind of drives me to be hungry. And like my teammates, they're always in my ear telling me like, hey man, like you did good this week and all, but like, you know, like anything can happen. So like just remember to stay on top of everything and take care of your body and everything, take care of your mental, and like keep God first type thing.
What is sort of the next step for you in your development? Like, what's kind of the goal this season?
I would say endurance. Like the training that we're doing, I'm not doing it just for like this meet, not just for conference, but just to go back to the NCAAs again, just to compete, show my face. And hopefully bring home another title for sure.
Yeah, Deshaun got over that hump last year. He making NCAAs, and maybe I think you're making your first time. You're kind of in awe, and you're excited to be there. No expectations he's going to go back, and it's going to be more business than just happy to be there this time around.
Takia, for you being so close and missing it by just that much, has that been a big motivator for you this offseason?
Yes, it has been. I want to make it again in 100 and 200. Make it a bigger step for me. Like, I know I could do it. It's just like barriers for real. So I'm going to get it. I know I'm going to get it.
In track, it's hard to get sidetracked. And we're talking about outdoor a little bit more, indoor. Like I know here we're supposed to be here talking about indoors, but these kids get excited about both sports. So the qualifying was outdoor last year. In track, it's unique. Where indoor, they take the top 16 in each event. Outdoor, you take the top 96. So it's a big difference, qualifying for NCAA's indoor as opposed to outdoor.
What's your thoughts when you talk to other coaches and talk to Frank about it? I don't know if you talk to you about just your thoughts on the new conference and kind of what that outlook is for track and field.
I mean, most of our teams from Texas. I'm just real excited to get some Texas schools in there, and those are schools that a lot of the kids on our team have friends that go there, or they know more about some of those schools. When you talk about UTA and Abilene Christian and Tarleton, and then of course having UC in there, I think that UCA in there. I think that's the most exciting part about it is having schools that kind of fit geographically where we're at, are in the area that we recruit. And UCA has always been they've been a thorn recruiting, and we're back and forth with them. So, it's been heated, but now it's gonna be fire. Like it's gonna be on with them. Being in our conference and being less than 45 minutes down the road. That team up north that wears purple, as Frank says.
I got to think that the competition level down south with more southern teams has got to be a little bit more heightened than what you're seeing in the Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, don't mistake. SEMO and EIU were real competitive on the. We have some strong track teams there. But it's gonna be teams that do what we do. Like we really hang our hat on the sprints. I mean, our men haven't not been top 3 in the 60 in 3 years in the conference. Our women haven't lost a 4x1, but. So those are where we get our points, and we're going to get a little more competition in the areas that we're good at. Where in the OVC it was maybe a little stronger in distance, maybe definitely really strong in the throws. But it's going to be more of a clash of the Titans here in some of the sprints and hurdles, which is what we've always been successful in.
And then just last one for me, but just how important is it to kind of leave the conference with on a good note? Hopefully, obviously come out with a championship.
Yeah, we're trying to get that 3rd straight on the guys' side. So, like I said, we're going to be tested. So I think we'll be battle tested coming into the OVC championship, and if we stay healthy, we're going to be tough to beat.
All right.
Appreciate you guys coming.